We are live, and the New York Mets have just signed Bo Bichette to a 3-year, $126 million deal with 2 opt-outs to play third base after losing out on the Kyle Tucker sweepstakes as the Dodgers continue their taking over of the world. Clem's going to join us in a minute. Meek Phil is on Pick Central right now, so it's me and Kyle to kick things off here as we finally make a move. About a month too late, in my opinion, but better late than never. At least we're in on some of the big names. In my opinion, the best name remaining. This feels a lot like a move where they just were quick to. I think they really thought they were going to get Kyle Tucker. I think they really fucking thought that 4 years, 20 or whatever their final number was. I would have expected that to get it done too. I think when they didn't, they were pretty surprised and quickly just pivoted and said, all right, let's just go get Bo Bichette. We still got a problem at first. We got a lot of infielders, still have a log jam, still don't have a first baseman. I don't love that it feels like Beatty finally earned his spot, and I was excited to see him for a full season where he doesn't have a axe over his head at all times. You're good, you have your position, now play. So he's up in the air. Maybe he plays out of position, maybe we trade. I don't know. So there's still a lot, but I'm happy that we finally made a move. I truly did not think we were signing anybody the way the offseason was shaking out.
I thought we were going to miss out on Bellinger. I thought it was going to be a complete swing and a miss. Every team, it was just pointing to the fact that we just kept hitting on that 3-year contract, and every player clearly was giving the signs of I don't want this, and then Bo Bichette takes it, which is insane because he had long-term offers out there for a lot of money locked up, and he can opt out after the first year and go make a ton of money like Pete just did, but we needed a bat. We got a bat. Dude hit 311 last year, 18 home runs, 90-plus RBI.
A 300 hitter, Kyle. A 300 hitter. I never thought we'd see that again.
And somehow, some way, his WAR is lower than Kyle Tucker. And, I've been screaming it from the mountaintops. I'm like, the guy had 70 RBIs last year and 22 home runs. He wasn't going to fix anything. He was going to replace Nimmo's production from last season. So you kind of got that middle-of-the-way guy now with Bo Bichette who, bridges the gap between what Nimmo gave us and what Pete gave us. And then you have somebody else. I'm sure there's going to be another trade coming because you got Beatty Vientos,
right.
Semien.
Well, that would
Polanco.
I was originally thinking that Beatty was the guy who was going to make it out of that crew of Mauricio, Beatty, all those guys. Now I'm thinking maybe he's the trade bait because of this move. So, which I don't love, but I also don't hate. I think that Beatty's value is probably at an all-time high. It depends on obviously what you would get in return for him. The Kyle Tucker thing is crazy to me. Listen, I watch the Mets these days. A 40-year-old man, I don't watch every single game, so I don't really know the Kyle Tucker world. I can already tell you he ain't worth $60 million a year and a $126 million cap hit, or not cap, but you know what I mean, payroll hit. He was good, but I never thought, and this is why when everyone was screaming and yelling about the Soto deal, I said, give it 5 minutes and he will be probably underpaid. Yeah. And as you see Kyle Tucker make more money than him now already.
That's why
the Soto deal is a steal.
That reminds me of when the NBA restructured and it was the 7th man off the bench was making 158 and you were for fucking what? Now, I'm not saying Kyle Tucker isn't a great player, but there's people out here being he immediately becomes the second best player on the Dodgers. I don't see that at all.
Stop it. Kyle Tucker could bat 7th on the Dodgers. Yes. Get the fuck out of here.
Crazy.
Clem, what are your thoughts?
We didn't see this coming, right? I've been tracking Giants coaches or Giants owners' planes. I've been refreshing Twitter for Kyle Tucker. So Bo Bichette was nowhere near the radar, the bingo card, whatever you want to say. And again, this feels like when your dad is your mom is did you get him the jacket? And he's oh, I forgot. The jacket sold out. And he just gets the nicest jacket.
That's what I said.
Start, right? This feels like Uncle Stevie trying to make it up and being I probably shouldn't have tweeted that thing or said that thing to you that made your mind go all crazy. If it's a makeup gift, it's a makeup gift. The one thing I think this team, remember when it was the Mets don't need Kyle Tucker because they already have Juan Soto, which made no sense. I will say this. The Mets, one position they didn't need seemed to be middle infielder because we have Lindor, we have Semien, we have 17 minor leaguers who are all ready to come up to the big leagues. Luis Angel Acuna has hit 7 home runs since we were live today. I feel the one thing we didn't need was Bo Bichette, but fuck it. His name is cool. He was great for me in fantasy last year. I can tell you that much, boys. He hit that World Series home run, right? So I'll give him the clutch tag. And I mean, who the fuck is he playing first? I'll tell you right now. Bo Bichette playing first might be what?
They
I
said
said third. So I don't know what that means for your boy.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So, but and I know you're not going to like that, but I was just saying before you joined, out of all those guys, whose value is at the highest right now?
He needs a moment to process.
I know. I'm sorry, Clem. I'm sorry.
The alternative is that he becomes the new McNeil and we just throw him in the outfield and tell him to figure it out.
No, I can't do that. We have to be a real team
Seriously.
that plays people at real positions.
Do you see the roster breakdown for our outfield? It's like left field, Tyrone Taylor. Right field, Juan Soto followed by Tyrone Taylor. Center field, Tyrone Taylor. It's like, you got to find somebody else. And they have pieces now to trade. But
you know what Clem is doing right now? Exactly what Brett Beatty is probably doing. He's probably like, what the fuck do I have to do to just earn a solid spot on this team? Unless, I don't know if he's taking balls at first base or if they're just looking to trade him. But like, it's got to be first or trade, right? He's like,
he is right? No, he throws righty. So I was gonna say at least he's a lefty. I mean, I guess Pugh is a righty.
Here's the problem with the reaction. They weren't planning for Bo Bichette. So now they had to make that play immediately. And it's like, well, then why did we go get Polanco? And why did we trade for Sam? And you just back it all up, and it's like, this doesn't make sense if it was planned, and you know it isn't planned.
If you were gonna go,
they have to reshuffle the deck.
If you were gonna go get a middle infielder of some sort, Simeon and Polanco are like redundant. You know what I mean? It's like
you have Bo Bichette play second base, then you have two shortstops up the middle, and like you know.
It's just like I appreciate that they were like plan. I mean, they're probably on like plan C at this point after they thought they were going to get Diaz. Obviously, we're ready to let Pete walk. Then thought they were going to get Tucker. Then they just pivot and they're quickly like, we got to do something and let's go get the best available. I appreciate that. And I like that because it's better than nothing. But it's very clear that because of the previous moves, you were not planning on this. And so now it makes me feel like you don't really know what the fuck you're doing. You're still making moves and trying to progress. You're not just sitting on your hands, but this does feel like you're all over the fucking map.
Yeah, and this is like when you're playing like a video game and you're like, oh man, I signed too many guys, and like someone's like, we could trade Marcus Semien for Brandon Nimmo, and then we have our outfield back. It's like
right.
It does feel like we're kind of chasing stuff. Boys, like my buddy texted me, he's like, maybe they moved Bichette to third, and I'm like, our MVP is playing at third. What are you talking about right now?
That's at least what they said the plan is. So
already announced it too. So it's like,
which like they shouldn't have done if the plan is to move Beatty, don't say it. Because then now people know that, Beatty's like an odd man out. So that I don't love.
I do love this. And this is like the one thing that kind of sold me was I forgot that the Phillies were linked to Bo Bichette.
Yeah. I was not even thinking about Bo Bichette because I saw a tweet the other day that said like, quote, overwhelming favorites and like strong indication he's signing with
Who said that, Kev?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Who was it?
Bob Nightingale.
Boy, Bob.
You got boobs. You got boobs.
I didn't even see it was Bob. I just saw like chatter like that. So I figured that was.
He just tweeted the Phillies had agreed to a 7-year, $200 million request from Bichette, and they were expecting to have the deal done today until we just swooped in. So that adds a little bit extra for us.
That's nice.
I mean, listen, by the way, we're in a world that is just out of control with Bo Bichette getting $42 million. 3 years, $126 million. Out of this fucking universe. And I really can't believe these short-term deals. Like, I really think that potential lockouts and CBA and shit is really messing with everybody's plans. Because like a guy like Kyle Tucker, yes, $60 million a year is bonkers. But to start the offseason, we were hearing talk of like $300-400 million. And, again, no one's going to cry for these guys because you're set for life after one season of any of these contracts. But at the end of the day, it sounds like, Kyle Tucker was signing for a total value of like close to 50% less of what people thought he was going to get. So, some of the 3-year, 2-year opt-out short-term is throwing me for a loop because like, the fact that the Mets won't go past 3 on some of these, it's like we're lucky enough that we're in a position where guys who are expected to get 7, 8, 9, or 10 years are for some reason considering 4 and 5. But we won't move off of 3? It fucking drives me crazy.
Do you think that they're just looking at the Dodgers contracts and they're like, they're going to be out of their prime in 3 years, and then therefore we can do what they're doing now and just take advantage of the market?
I think that the strike year and the Dodgers dynasty, I think for
Yep.
sure play into all this.
This is what I wanted to. I was waiting for whenever we could get one of these to let my thoughts out. And listen, I understand everyone's been pissed off about a lot of things, and when we lost beloved guys like Pete and Diaz, that ties into it too. But I do think the shorter term stuff, and this is just a guess, like after that CBA, things are going to definitely change if baseball even survives it, right? And just as like an NBA fan, all these teams didn't prepare for when they had these aprons in, and everyone's just fucked now. I think Stearns is telling Cohen, listen, we are going to get fucked if we go 5 years on Pete, even though we love Pete. It's going to like really fuck us for the short-term future, which could be like 3 years down the road whenever the lockout ends. So I do think they are preparing to just have everything tidy, and you probably get a year or two of grace when the CBA restarts, the new CBA, and then it's like, all right, now massive penalties. And the thing is, the Dodgers are kind of adopting this too now because they probably agree with it. And the other teams, like how many big deals have been signed this offseason? Pete got 5, Schwarber got 5. There was a 7-year for Cease, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's not a ton of no 10-year deals, right? No 12-year deals, which seemed like that's where we were going. Obviously, we have Soto. We already have Soto as 15. So it's like we can't keep signing these guys because that's going to be on our books forever. Lindor's on our books for a little while longer. And then if we keep adding this and the CBA really is it really does penalize you after, say, 2 or 3 years, I think they want to have some flexibility. And again, I understand why everyone's upset, but I do think like they have to go in being like, we do want to win the World Series in 2028. And it's going to be hard to do that if you're whatever the penalties are, completely cut your balls off. Like in the NBA, you literally cannot trade a guy unless the salaries are dollar for dollar. So it's like if they really prohibit stuff or they really fuck you with, draft picks, money, whatever it may be.
And if they even come close to agreeing to that, Tony Clark's going to get black bagged and we're never going to see him again. They're just going to install somebody else before that happens.
Yeah.
There's no chance that they would allow that to happen in this market with the amount of money that's flowing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone just gets $50 million like that. Like, there's no way.
It's the NBA players union versus the baseball players union is a complete mismatch, right?
Yeah.
It's like the MLB is the strongest in like the fucking world at this point.
Yeah, it really seems.
But at the same point, like unless these owners are going to just start spending magically the other 20. I don't understand. I still understand, by the way, the Kyle Tucker stuff. How did we become the punchline? We offered fucking $55 million to the asshole who wasn't worth.
You know why? Because this is now the second time that the Mets have very clearly been used for leverage with Yamamoto, and now Dodgers, this. Yeah. It feels like the game plan, unfortunately, feels like let's go to the Mets, get a big offer, turn right around, and get that much more from Southern California dynasty. So that has to stop at some point. I don't think Kyle Tucker or Bo Bichette, or Kyle Tucker was the guy to like do that. I almost like Yamamoto was probably the guy to do that. I like at some point Steve's going to have to go over the top. I mean, and he just did it with Soto really, so I can't knock him too much. But like at some point you got to put an end to that idea that like you just go to the Mets and then you go to the Dodgers, because that's with Diaz, with Yamamoto, with this now. It's becoming a trend. And it's not no fault of his own. It's just that there's only like 2 people that play in that sandbox, and maybe Toronto, maybe throw the other fringe guys in there. But the only people who can be who can hang with them is Steve. So it's going to happen. But at some point, you got to win that battle.
I think that like they're going to start being like, all right, now who do the Dodgers have at this position? Are they going to sign this guy, or no? They're locked in at like they're good at whatever first base.
I know you can't come out and say it, but like everything you just said, Clem, like makes sense to me and is logical. Like no one's beating the Dodgers, man. They're not doing it in the next couple years, and there's a lockout. So like, it's probably a smart move, but you can't say that.
Let me just push back on this. And listen, I saw I felt like as soon as you saw Dodgers, I'm not even thinking about like the Mets lost them, like the fucking Dodgers got them. The Dodgers could have lost the World Series like 17 times last year. And my buddy texted me, he's like, they're going to win 120 games, 130. I go, they can win 162. No one's going to give a fuck if they don't get the ring. They're probably still going to get the ring. Don't get me wrong. But like, there were times where, the year before, the Padres had them on the ropes. The Blue Jays had the rope on the ropes. So it's like, I don't honestly, at this rate, this is what Major League Baseball is. And that's kind of already become that for me. I'm in my bubble during the regular season. I do not give a fuck about any teams except for the Mets and basically our division, because that's decides the playoffs and then the wild card later in the year. If the Dodgers go 120, like we don't even we come in and like when we play them in June, we're like the Dodgers are like 35-30, like what's going on? And then they go on like a 50-game winning streak. I don't care. Just get me to October alive, and then we see where it goes from there. Because it's honestly like it doesn't matter in terms of, in my mind, how good the Dodgers are until we face them in the playoffs. If we face
I agree with that from a fan point of view for sure. I get that. I think if you're running the team though, and it's like you have to pick your spot of where you go all in, I don't know if you could logically say that that's a smart move right now.
Yeah,
I mean, you're taking a dynasty team and adding Kyle Tucker and Edwin Diaz.
Well,
like,
yeah. The only thing is though, like they have
and people getting healthy, and like going to be really fucking good, man.
Carabas said, he goes, the most improved team of the offseason is the back-to-back World Series champions.
Right. So like in that sense, from a fan point of view, you're totally right. Make it to October. Anything can happen in a 5 or 7 game series. Injuries happen. All that shit's true. But if you just have to logically assume these guys are going to be a juggernaut, and then there's a stoppage or at least some changes coming, I don't know. I don't like it, but put it this way. It's at least a understandable strategy. Yeah. Like
they were quickly approaching. If we didn't do this move and we miss out on Bellinger, who knows? We're probably still going to be in on it, but who knows where he ends up? We're like quickly approaching like John Mayberry Jr. batting 4th type of situation.
I've been saying it. How often I've been saying in the group chat, I thought we are in a rebuild. They're just not saying it, and nobody wants to admit it.
The highest paid player in the history of the game. Like that's insane.
And like,
we need a ton of pitching, and we have no closer that we trust. So it's like they're just saying Griffin Canning is now back on their radar with his blown out Achilles, and it was like, okay, why not? We need somebody out there. So
a lot needs to happen for this to still be like you're still in it and going after it, because I don't want to let them fully off the hook for this Bichette thing. It's like, okay, you're willing to spend, you pivoted quickly. It seems like it's really not a organized plan given your other moves. But if they don't accompany this with like pitching and bullpen, it's kind of like, all right, great. So you really got a name this offseason.
You can't force these guys to sign, but they are firm in not moving off their plan. So if he's willing to lose his job over whatever this grand plan is, maybe it's not a grand plan for this season. It's for the long term. It's like, okay, if you're willing to lose your job over it, like it's not like we were winning championships before you got here. So whatever's going to work, we have to live through a rebuild. Why not? Stearns
has put his reputation on the line for sure with all these moves and or non-moves. So, like, I hope it works out for you, bud. Like, not only as a fan of the team, but just for you personally, because you've drawn a line in the sand for sure.
Bo Bichette, career 311 postseason hitter.
Dude,
13 games, but 311 average.
Yeah, I mean that
one home run, Game 7 of the World Series, which was the greatest game in the history of sports, basically.
Can Dante Bichette be our hitting coach? Can I get Dante Bichette in the mix? One of my favorite random players ever.
Now, he was the one who did the fist, right?
Was that Big Cat or is that?
Oh no, that was Castilla.
Or
it was Benny Castilla.
One of those guys, like they're all in the mix in the Rockies. Yeah.
And was that against us? I don't know if it was opening day against us. I was trying to find the gif of it, and I was like, "Fuck!" I thought it was Dante Bichette. It might have been. That team was so awesome.
So
Dante Bichette, Vinny Castilla, Galarraga. You got Larry Walker later on. That team ruled. Ah, man. I mean, pedigree's a good thing, right? Like, let's think of it that way. We wanted.
I like Bo Bichette. I think he's a good signing. I do not think he's worth. Well, I was going to say I don't think he's worth $42 million a year, but that's like, I'm 40 years old. I came from an era where these numbers are like fantasy land. That's probably the going rate for short-term opt-outable contracts, which is, you know.
They're like, he is going to opt out in their mind.
Totally. So. And, you know, I mean, I guess, put it this way. If Bo Bichette is confident enough to opt out of $42 million a year, that means he had a bomb-ass season and is thinking that someone will give me $50 million a year. Like, that means something went really well. So, you know, I'm actually always kind of for the opt-outs. It's like, earn your fucking keep, man. You know, let's like, we run the risk of losing you.
Perfect, because we initiate. There's nothing he can do. We're just going to give you an extra $5 million, go away.
Yeah, that one is beautiful. Because, I mean, you know, if Kyle Tucker's going to get 60, like, the other big dogs are going to, it's going to be insane. And Soto at like $51 million a year is going to be one of the biggest steals in baseball.
I was slowly slipping into madness with the way that they were making it seem like Kyle Tucker was going to change the course of our franchise if we signed him.
Am I crazy? Like, Clem, I was saying before you came in, like, I don't watch other teams intently, like the Mets. I know he's good, but I didn't watch him enough to know if he's like worth all of this. Looked up his numbers. I was like, all right. I mean, yeah, I'll take that production, but we're not talking about. I mean, he's making like 50% more than Aaron Judge. I think I saw the tweet. Like,
yeah, I mean those numbers too. That like Kyle, would you say like it makes more than 11 teams this year, and then the top 6 in the Dodgers make more than the Braves, who are 5th in payroll, like 250 or so. I think like youngish, right? He's not even that young. That's the thing about Soto. He was young, you know. He's turning 29 on Saturday. I think the next few years, there's not a ton of guys out there in terms of like bats. I think they said Pena, like Jeremy Pena was like the best hitter coming out, at least as of now. You never know who can like blow up. But yeah, I mean, I had Kyle Tucker in fantasy. And again, this is just like monitoring. Good player, you know, gets like 20-20, maybe a 30-30.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking at it right
not
now.
this hubbub, that's for sure.
I will say it's one of those things where if you pick him out of this era and put him like a decade back, everyone's like, oh, he's just a league average player.
Mm-hmm. And if he was like a great defender with these hitting numbers, I'd be like, okay, I could see it. We've talked run prevention a million times. He's like good, all right, defensive outfielder, and it's probably going to like go down if you had him for like an 8-year deal, right? So, and the thing is, you're paying more for the short-term deal, obviously. Like, everyone's like, he's not a $42 million player, Bichette, or $60 million for Tucker. It's like, yeah, but it's like when the quarterbacks hit, that's why no one wants a quarterback to hit the open market unrestricted, because that's when the fucking banks have to open, and it's kind of like, all right, we'll sign the short-term deal. And I do think this is all CBA driven. I honestly think it's all that. And
dude, I just like, I go back to Pete. It's all like your reputation and the spin that your agent puts. Like, why was Kyle Tucker anointed the chosen one and Pete Alonso was scraps off the dinner table? Like, it's not like he's 22, 24. They're relatively in the same age range.
Yep.
Pete's like mashing 40 homers a year. And then we go back to like defense where it's like, all right, you're going to tell me like Kyle Tucker's glove is like that valuable, or like 20 steals in an era where we now know with the pitch clock steals are inflated. Like, you're going to tell me that's worth $60 million a year?
And
but
Pete shows up every game. Tucker gets hurt, you know. And granted, they weren't like lingering injuries; they were like a bone and a fracture. But like,
whatever. I mean, durability is durability. It's all PR, man. Not all, but in certain instances, it becomes PR or timing. Like, you know, your free agency classes. But even in this year, there's a bunch of free agents, and he's still like the golden boy, while other players are, you know, treated like shit. I don't know how you let that happen or how you achieve that. Like, how does Pete let his reputation become that bad? How does Kyle Tucker get his reputation that good? I don't know, but it's one of the best things that can happen to you in sports.
Like, WAR from Mike Trout was like, everybody's like, okay, that's got to be right. The WAR has to be correct because he is far and away the best player right now, and like his WAR is so much better than everybody else's. And then you see WAR for other players, and you're like, that guy isn't doing anything for his team to really win. Yeah. He's just doing what other people are doing, but for some reason, like Bo Bichette and his WAR is 2 apart. Even though Bo Bichette hit 311, had more RBIs. Like, explain that to me, because I really can't fathom why you'd want a guy who has less production is going to get you more wins. That doesn't make sense. And play 30 less games.
It's very much these two players are like a lot of players against other players. It's the harassment meme where it's like the nice guy being like, you look nice today. It's that, like Mike McCarthy's record and like all his accolades were like identical to John Harbaugh's, and John Harbaugh is the golden boy, and everyone's like, if Mike McCarthy sides with my team, I'm gonna kill myself. And they have like the same number of Super Bowls, playoff records are similar, regular season, all that kind of stuff. I will say this is definitely a part of it. Unfortunately, like obviously Pete's a lumbering first baseman who doesn't get better. Tucker's a little more, obviously more in shape, and like that kind of player might age better. But it's like Pete Alonso is also on LOL Mets who can't do anything right. And Kyle Tucker was like coming up as a minor leaguer winning World Series, you know, as like the young prospect in right field for the Astros. That does matter as well in people's minds, whether or not it means anything to the executives. But for us fans, Kyle Tucker was like the next great free agent who was going to hit the market for years now. So that's why I think it happened.
I'll just say this. The fact, I'm going to share my screen here. The fact that we don't have to look at that jawline. Oh, you're going to tell me that guy? You're going to tell me that guy's a stud? No way. You tell me that guy's worth $60 million? For sure not.
Did you see who quote retweeted that and said, that looks like a nice profile? Our one handsome Hank.
Handsome Hank with the same exact lack of chin.
I honestly thought it was him. I was like, he's in
know.
Chicago, so that
I
could be
know.
Hank, like at like a part of my take charity game or something.
Somehow his Adam's apple sticks out further than his chin. It's crazy.
Oh, we'd be getting roasted with a guy like that running the bases.
I just like the pitching is really obviously what matters next. But
you motherfuckers, listen. Whoever we get, you motherfuckers better cheer, because if I have to lose my sweet little baby boy Brett, I am going to be so mad. So I want all the Mets fans to just realize the sacrifice us Beatty truthers are giving up if that's what happens, because I feel like it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen. I think he could play first. Like, I don't think Polanco's the answer at first, though. If Bichette's not playing first.
Put it this way, whoever is playing first from this mix, if we go get somebody, obviously, but whoever's playing first from this mix is not going to be like a natural first baseman. So, like, no matter who
exactly,
it's going to be like an experiment. I mean, Beatty. So you have Beatty, Vientos, Simeon, Polanco, Acuna, like some of those.
Jet.
I have not heard the name Scooble in a while. Is that put to bed? Is he not on the block? Is that not even possibly happening? Because that would be the only thing I could think now that would like get me really going again, is if you take some of this log jam and spin some of these guys to go get a Cy Young.
Honestly, there's not a lot of guys that could like sleep at night trading Beatty away. And I know it's an absurd thing. Again, this is fan brain talking. Scooble I'll live with. I'm also like, getting Scooble just keeps him away from the fucking Dodgers. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
They barely even have a rotation spot because you forget Glasnow's back and Snell will be healthy and Yamamoto, and then Sasaki will have another year under his belt. It's like they're running out of roster spots. At some point, they're gonna like
they at least have to stop at some point. Like, you're full. You have 25 fucking guys. They're all amazing. At least stop.
And then the postseason comes, and then Kike Hernandez is better than all of them.
Yeah,
you're not even paying.
And they don't have anyone, so they're like making Sasaki their closer. Like, it's like, how are you this dynasty that's like built on billions of dollars?
They are. They're the perfect baseball team. I can't even knock them. They have all their superstars to get through 162, and then they have like Pajes and fucking Tommy Edman and all those guys who like you said, they become even better than the superstars. And even if like Ohtani's not playing well, the other guys pick them up. They're perfect. Now they have the pitching. Like, the only thing that was really holding them back was pitching injuries. If they get healthy, I just can't see who stops them. But man, so the only other spin zone is like, well, now you have the opportunity to beat the greatest team of all time. Like, if you somehow do get through them, it's the greatest experience a baseball fan can have that we took down the big bad Dodgers. I'd rather not. I'd rather play, well, I was going to say like a 500 team, but we know what the Cardinals did to us. So I don't know either way, but they are just absolutely unbelievable. And I just made a video detailing the McCourt divorce. Like, I don't think people really realize like what happened there. The McCourts bought the team in 2004. In 2010, they're getting divorced. The wife, Jamie McCourt, was heavily involved in all the day-to-day. I think she was actually the CEO. So when it came time to divorce, she was like, this is a marital asset and I'm trying to get half the team. Frank needed all the money he could get, but he was broke. So that's when they go to bankruptcy court. The MLB doesn't want any part of going to a bankruptcy court. So they rush the sale of the deal. And in order to and all of this is coinciding with the Dodgers local TV deal expiring. So they need to rush a TV deal, and they come up with $84 million per year as the amount of revenue they're going to make. That's 30% of that is what gets shared around. And they obviously make like way more than 84. How in 2011, when streaming is coming, TV rights for other sports are booming, everything is growing, they say that the Los Angeles Dodgers, the crown jewel, is going to make $84 million a year, when the Angels had just signed a deal as the bum-ass version of LA baseball, and they were making $150. So they make $200 million a year. Only $84 million of it gets spread around. A percentage of that gets spread around, and the rest is just for them to play. They just like definitively have a financial competitive edge, all because of these fucks getting divorced. One couple has ruined the sport of baseball. It's crazy.
That and the Guggenheim Group is worth over $300 billion.
Yeah,
like, that richest owner, their president's worth $12 billion, but their bankroll is endless.
And we're the bad guy. That's the craziest thing.
Tax.
I never forget last
Guggenheim tax.
before last season, after the Mets signed Soto, someone asked me, they go, do you feel like it's World Series or bust for the Mets? And I go, we are in the same, not even sport, league as the Dodgers. How are we the ones that's World Series or bust?
Yeah.
So, Kev, I will say this. I'm not going to bet my life it's going to happen, but if they somehow were to go out and beat the Dodgers, and even though there's like that hate against us and LOL Mets, if they ever face the Dodgers, like we kind of would become like America's team. And
I wonder, do you really think? I mean, the Mets are so bizarrely hated by people. I think they would be one of those where they're like, I'm rooting for a bomb to blow up the stadium. Like, I don't think people would root for us.
This is the thing, though. Like, as a Giants fan, and people got kind of sick of the Giants shit. When we played the Patriots 18-0, it was like, let's go. Everyone was rooting for the Giants, Yeah. So I do feel like there's Eagles fans who's like, I was rooting for you guys so bad. I'm like, I would never have done that for you. But there were a lot of people like that. And this is probably the most like dominant and like ruthless the Dodgers will probably be, because I think after the CBA they're going to have to fix.
I think that's why they did it too.
This is all Ohtani's fault, by the way.
They're doing it's the yin and yang. They're doing the opposite. Like teams like the Mets, I really believe, are saying we're not going to win this year. We have a lockout coming. Let's plan for 3 years from now. The Dodgers are saying we only got 2 years left of this fucking free money, so let's go all in.
Yeah, I don't
even know like what sort of if the Guggenheim team is. It's more about like their mentality, because like there are billionaire owners who act cheap and there are cheap guys who try to be billionaires because they love it. If the Guggenheim group is really like, we just want to keep winning and this is like a moneymaker for us, I don't know if a CBA will stop that mentality. Unless the punishments are like insane, I could see them still being like having that same approach.
Bob Nutting, the Pirates owner, $1.1 billion. That's what he's worth, and he runs his team like he's worth $1.1 thousand. It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
I just like
the Guggen that. How did that happen? By the way,
I know.
How did that happen?
That's the other thing. It's entirely different this year.
Dude,
yeah,
the McCourt stuff is crazy, man. They like baseball flat out was just like, we need this to go away. We got to get them out. We got to avoid bankruptcy, like whatever. And they didn't. I mean, I guess they couldn't have stopped them anyway, but it was just the perfect storm for a group to swoop in and grab a team like on the cheap and quickly and all that shit. Perfect fucking timing for the Dodgers fans. Oh my God.
I got a question for you guys. Is the MLB Players Union the strongest, best union in the world, or are the Major League Baseball owners the biggest group of fucking morons, and they just get their lunch eaten for them? They're the only professional sport that just gets dominated by their player union year in and year out.
That's why people hate Tony Clark. This is the first time they've had a player as the president.
Yeah.
And he's getting dog walked by Manfred, who is like the union buster. Why would you put him in charge?
Walk me through the lockout, because so the lockout implies that the owners are the ones it's not a strike, right? So what is it over? What is it? What's the problem?
They're offering a floor, and the only way you get a floor is if you put it in a ceiling. So they'll make whatever the team is, whatever hit the number that they need to at the bottom, but that just means no one's gonna.
But are the players asking for a floor?
No.
So the owners are just kind of coming up with this all themselves, that they want a floor, but that also implies a cap.
Yeah, that's like their bargaining chip of being like, well, we want all the teams to be competitive, and it's really not, so we'll force them to hit this number, but we need to be realistic about where it can go. And it's like, that'll never be the case.
And they don't want to. They just can't keep going as is, because why?
They can, but
yeah. It's just weird to me that why I think that baseball's kind of back up in terms of financials and whatnot. I don't quite.
The ebbs and flows are crazy, because they were at the top of their game the last time they had the lockout.
Yeah,
they're complete assholes if they repeat it again, but they're going to.
And it's people are making players have to be happy. They're making more money than ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just seems weird to me that is happening now. Because it's as much as we want to say the Dodgers are ruining it and the CBA needs to stop the Dodgers, it's not about that. That's happening, but it's more league wide and bigger than just one team dominating. So as much as that makes it feels like, oh, baseball's broken, I think that's really the impetus for any sort of work stoppage. But
I feel like the owners are just like, whenever they get the new CBA, whatever it is, it's just going to take the first owner to figure out the loophole, and then they just want to make money. There's only so many guys who want to win, and the amount of shit. And listen, Cohen, I understand he has like stuff in his past, and he's brash, and he's a billionaire, which people hate in itself. But at least he's trying to fucking win. And there's about 5 teams that are actually trying to win. The Phillies, I hate the Phillies. They're trying to win. The Dodgers are trying to win, are winning. The Blue Jays were trying for Ohtani. They tried for Soto.
Blue Jays are trying. And the fact that they're kind of like getting there is, you know, as a Canadian team, like I tip my cap to the Blue Jays. They're doing it. They're good.
I wanted to make this point just because I've been bothering you guys on the text about it, but I think I've said it on the pod. My favorite thing about Bo Bichette, I just wanted that righty bat that could hit. And he's a 20 home run hitter. He's not a 30 or a 40 like Pete. I understand. But it's just like there's scars. There's a big scar like right here. You can't see it because my shirt's on. It's below the skin, actually. And it's an X. And it's Xavier Nady. Xavier Nady was the most important player on the 2006 Mets because he was, I think, our only right-handed hitter. Believe it or not, guys, I'm telling you, don't go back and like double check me. But he was like the only guy we had. We had to trade him because our fucking goddamn setup man got hit in a car accident at 3 a.m. in Miami. And then like Moises Alou was then his replacement the next year. It just never worked once Nady left. And I just need lineup balance. And I know we have Lindor who can switch it, but he's a better lefty. We know that. Soto's a lefty. We thought Tucker was going to be here. He's a lefty. Brett Beatty, our MVP for next year, if he's still on the team, a lefty. We have so many lefties. And I just can't trust Vientos. I can't trust Simeon at this age. And Alvarez, if his hand breaks 17 times, I just needed a guy. So that's my like other spin zone to people trying to talk themselves into like this crazy boat.
And he's a 300 hitter. Yeah. Like that is so rare these days, you know? It's like, or I think he's like 295 or something like that for his career. Like that feels like 400 did back in the day. That's
by the way, and there was people like, oh, we want Bregman for third base like a couple of years ago. This is kind of that. We're just moving to third base, and it's like it's a similar body type player. You know, he can hit.
I got no problem with Bo Bichette. I like this
pickup. For sure, it's a good pickup. I don't, you know, he's gonna opt out, so it's really just for dumping $42 million. That's it. Yeah,
yeah, and like it's not a perfect fit because of his position and other people's positions. We need the pitching. We shouldn't have let Diaz go. There's like way more cons than pros to this offseason, but he's not one of them. He's a good signing.
And he was. So if you look at his stats, he's a 300 hitter his entire career, basically. In 24, he batted 225, and I'm pretty sure he was hurt. It was a lot of like, you know, everyone just has that shitty season where it's some negative, whatever it may be. And then it's back to 300 last year. So we're going to like Bo. It's going to be crazy thinking about all the shit we went through. And then we'll be like, oh yeah, Bo Bichette. And I thought about this a couple of days ago. And I've been saying this to you guys, honestly, Kev, I think it was like Mets therapy session 1.0. I was always like, who's our Ray Knight? We need that Ray Knight or that Keith Hernandez professional guy. And did you see that story that was circulating that a big reason it was basically they traded Simeon. It was Simeon and Seager had like a fight in the clubhouse. And Simeon's like, you guys aren't trying hard enough. And Seager's like, yo, man, we're just trying to like chill, enjoy, you know, LA kind of shit. And I'm like, I think we kind of needed that. I think Tommy Pham told us 2 years ago, we need more guys like Marcus Simeon on this team. And granted, a lot of the guys he kind of called out are clearly no longer on the team. We have like 2 regulars left from when he was here. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of it. I don't know how he'll fit. I don't know how he'll be as a leader and like.
Well, you know what makes that tough?
But I like
it. The short term plus opt outs makes that a little bit tough. Like I don't know if you can roll in and be like a leader in the clubhouse type when it's like, bro, you're opting out after this year.
No, but I'm talking about Simeon. I'm talking about Simeon.
Oh, I thought you meant Bichette. Oh, okay.
I think Bichette's like a good clubhouse guy too.
Yeah. No, Simeon, by all accounts, like everything I've read at least was like that was part of his allure was like the clubhouse element of it all.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to worry about on the field too. Like
100%. And like if
you're our clubhouse guy or some shit, and we don't have to get 35-year-olds making $50 million a year, but
you take the numbers and you're going to put them, and it's going to be like Pete Nimmo and whatever here, and then this guy and this guy. That's the right side's probably going to win. The old guys, the guys we had, but. I'll just go back to like, again, the last time the Mets were fucking dominant in 06, it was like Jose Valentin made no sense, but you know what? He was fucking the engine of that team.
I don't have a problem with the guys we did get. I like Bichette. It seems like what I'm hearing about Simeon is like good. I like Polanco as like a versatile guy. It's just about who we didn't get. It's about the guys we lost and like the kind of this like lack of plan or at least a plan that's not really making much sense is kind of what bothers me. And no fucking pitching.
Yeah,
No.
that's the most glaring problem.
Yeah.
We've got guys who already were only throwing 5 innings who might not be even that good this year, and we have no closer. So,
And the problem is we locked some of
Well,
those.
we do.
Well, Manaea has what, 2 more years left?
I think so. I think it was
And
3
then
years.
Senga has 1 because he lost that option or whatever. Or no, he lost his player option. But
I mean, theoretically, if the only thing I'll say, and there's like a 1% chance of this happening, is at least those guys, like everything went wrong last year. If somehow everything went right, those guys all do have a potential. If they all hit their potential, they'd be like a good rotation. You know, chances of that happening are slim to none. But it's not like there's no evidence of Peterson being like a fucking ace, or Senga when he was healthy in the beginning was like a number 1. Manaea we saw at his best, and then the young guns. So like it's possible, but
don't forget Holmes, Peterson, Manaea, Holmes, Senga.
Yeah, like they're not
McLean.
like terrible. It's like if Peterson can bounce back, Holmes does what he does, and then the kids are good, and then like you just pray that.
This is what we say every year in February. Kev, you're a month ahead of yourself right now. We're like, and you know what? Our dumbasses will be back March 27th, opening day.
Yep.
All right, 95.
As you were saying it, I was convincing myself. I'm like, oh, damn it.
But listen, I don't know if you guys see, I got construction going on here. But if you do all that and you get maybe one guy to really be the rock at the top, if it's a Scooble or whatever it may be, it does make it look better because there's going to be 2 or 3 injuries in spring training or the first month of the season.
Dude, Scooble, McLean, Tong, let's go.
Back.
Come on, we're back.
Sweet Jonah. Gotta believe.
I believe.